Pim, good
Yes.
afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you,
How are
my
you?
friend?
I'm good. I'm good. Busy as hell, but very good.
Good to see you. Although you're back in Holland, so welcome back in Holland after, I think, 2 decades of being a Swiss watch genius. Welcome back. For those that don't know, Pim is now co-owner, majority owner of Christiaan van der Klaauw Watches. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
I got
you.
a lot of messages last night on Instagram. They're like, Pim, Koeslag, Frederique Constant, Ateliers de Monaco, Van der Klaauw, is he doing all? So it's not breaking news, but not everybody heard yet.
Yeah.
And we are also super excited that you granted us the exclusive dealership for Amsterdam for Christiaan van der Klaauw watches. We announced that last week. So thank you for that. We're
Yeah.
super,
Well,
super
thank you.
happy. So I'm very honored that you're on the show. Very happy. Um, Before we kick off with everything about you, about the brand, why you joined the brand, we always start on this show with a wrist check. So before we start, Pim, what are you rocking today?
Yes. I have a beautiful astrolabium on my wrist,
Beautiful.
and I will show you it a little bit from up close. It is a watch that I will just quickly change the hands, otherwise you cannot see the beautiful hands on this watch because there are a lot. Here, there you go.
Stunning.
So
Stunning. Which is not in the collection right now, is it?
no, not yet. No, no, no. Or I say not yet and not anymore. I have to say, because yeah, this is a watch that is in the museum collection,
Mhm.
and so this particular watch we have only one left. This one is made by Christiaan himself, probably in 2002, and but this, I mean, I'm wearing it because I want to learn exactly how we made it and how we can maybe reintroduce it later on. uh, with later on, I mean in a couple of years, of course, because it's not something that you can just throw on the table.
Of course, of course. And
Very
that puts you immediately up at Ulysse Nardin's level because I guess you guys are the only two who made such a complicated,
yeah,
typical
true, true.
wristwatch.
Yeah,
That's correct, huh?
it's true. And but it's a beautiful watch. It indicates not only our minutes, of course, but also the sunrise, sunset, the rise and the set of the moon,
Mhm.
and with a nice dragon hand, you can. If the hand of the moon and the hand of the sun
Mhm.
will cross the dragon hand, then there will be an eclipse, a sun
Beautiful.
eclipse and a moon eclipse somewhere.
Amazing.
So, yeah, very
Amazing.
interesting piece.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And that's what you guys do. Amazing astronomical watches. And there's nobody who can beat Mr. Van der Klaauw, the brand Christiaan van der Klaauw. And now you. And that's your DNA. And I on purpose strapped on not my watch because my watch is being produced, but I strapped on the Ariadne because a lot of obviously Dutch collectors, which were the first collectors for Van der Klaauw,
Yes.
the Dutch brand, said, "Hey, it's a pity they're moving up market. They're only making extreme haute horlogerie, complicated watches. What happened to the entry level?" I said, "Guys, don't worry, we still have one in stock. So this one is new, not mine. Mine is being produced. And something that I really like about you, you said immediately, hey, I'm not letting the entry level go.
No,
So
definitely not.
I'll leave it to you if you want to introduce something during the show today.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that. It's amazing. Um, I jumped the gun a bit because I'm so excited. So Pim is Dutch, master watchmaker, had his journey in Switzerland, joined the Frederique Constant Group, worked there, founded Ateliers de Monaco together with the founders of Frederique Constant. technical director at the Frederique Constant Group, which had at least 3 brands. Alpina, Frederique Constant, and Ateliers de Monaco. And you're back in Holland doing solely Christiaan van der Klaauw today.
Yeah.
The quick summary. But a lot of people are interested in your journey. So I would love to discuss that after our tradition of doing the standard ACE list questions, which are 7 of them. I'm just going to jump in because we have maximum 1 hour and we have a lot of ground to cover. And we got a lot of questions from the viewers that couldn't join live.
Okay.
So the first question, Pim, and this is a tricky one for you, I guess. What watch or jewel is your favorite and why?
No, not at all. Tricky question. I think one of my favorite, and that's something that's in my heart for forever. Since I'm a watchmaker, is the Patek Philippe Nautilus. And this piece already, because I did an internship at Patek Philippe when I was still at watchmaking school. I was I got a prize as best watchmaker of the watchmaking school at the time, and they sent me to Patek Philippe Geneva. So there I had to the possibility to have a real good introduction in the Patek brand, and this model is so iconic. That's something I love to make one day, something that is like the Porsche 911 of the watch industry, and that's exactly what this is, this watch. So the other reason why this is a very important watch to me is that I met Gerald Genta a couple times, and back at the time we had a workshop in Monaco for the brand Ateliers de Monaco, and I met him at a fair. I'm not even sure where, but it was in Monaco, and we got to talk a little bit. And I explained him, I have a small workshop in Monaco. So he said, okay, I would like to see it. So I took him over to the workshop, and we started to talk a little bit. I explained him a little bit about our brand and what we did. And he had this first Patek Nautilus, the first one ever that came on the market. It was on his wrist. Amazing. With the Luminova in the hands, a little bit gone, It was showed so nicely that it was never retouched, never opened by a watchmaker. He didn't care. So that's a little bit why it is so important for me.
Amazing. And, did you work with him actually on a project?
We did work on a project, and so we went to dinner at Hotel de Paris a couple of times. We really start to kick off a project for Ateliers de Monaco, but 3 weeks after the kickoff, he unfortunately died. So
that's a pity.
But anyway, I'm so happy that I ever met the guy in a real personal and way, and that I could ask him so many questions, because this guy is like the dictionary of the watchmaking industry, of course.
It's funny actually that you mentioned him, because my love for Christiaan van der Klaauw as a person and his amazing watches started at Basel World when I was a kid, visiting the AHCI booth, where Christiaan was exhibiting. And ironically, although we're in Holland, I had to meet him in Switzerland and discover his watches as a kid there. Because my dad would always take us. We would start off, before we had any appointments, at the Independence. And I'm talking about more than 2 decades ago, way more. And so for me to be the hero as Christiaan van der Klaauw, a genius, where I put him on the same pedestal as Kurt Klaus. Also a guy that made a gentleman, not a guy, but a gentleman, a genius, who made astronomical watches from his head, not with CAD-CAM and computers, like Christiaan. And that same day, when I walked back from hole 5 to hole 1 on the bridge, we met Gerald Genta.
Okay.
So that was my most epic Basel ever.
Quite a day, huh?
Yeah, amazing. So it's ironic that you mentioned that. So thank you so much for sharing.
Cool.
Begs the question, obviously, do you own one?
No, I don't
Not
own
yet.
one. Not yet.
Not yet. Not
No,
yet.
it's not on my priority list because I love to create and I really appreciate this watch. But yeah, I have so many beautiful things to create still that I'm a little occupied.
I can imagine. One day, one day. Second question. What did you want to be when you grew up? Did you always want to be a watchmaker?
No. I want to be a jeweler, jewel making. That's what I want to do, and that's why I went to the Foxhole, the school for watchmaking / jewelry making. So I went there to become a jeweler. But the first week, I thought already, okay, well, let's forget the jewels. We're gonna make watches. So
Funny.
yeah, right away I knew it when I was first working on the clocks and I saw all this wheels and things. I was like, this is the perfect combination about beauty, design, and technique. So yeah,
So basically, this watch is your favorite. The jeweled watches.
yeah.
It
Well,
combines best of both worlds.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Have you
Definitely.
created jewelry? Or did you leave the jewelry, went to watchmaking, and never made a jewel as a goldsmith?
No, never. Yeah, of
Never.
course, at school you have still like the first year was a yeah, combined year. So I made some jewels, but some basic stuff. But yeah, no, it's watches for me.
Interesting. Lovely. Nice to hear. By the way, we yesterday I got a lot of responses. People are excited for today on the socials. We have somebody on LinkedIn, which unfortunately the name didn't got pushed through. Writing, hi dear Alon, hi Pim. Thank you so much for joining. Sorry we can't see your name, so maybe write it in the comments. On Facebook, we have Dukuman who writes, let's go, wink. Thank you for joining. We have another question on LinkedIn, but I think we'll deal with that later. We usually reserve the Q&A for the end. So thank you all for watching and joining, and please do keep on sending in your questions. We try to answer them at the end, but if you can't watch the show completely live, I'll try to pick them up. Pim, third question. Who is or was your role model? You can mention more.
That's a good question. I think we just mentioned him. Christiaan van der Klaauw definitely is one of my role models. Yeah, as was Peter Stas also, or is still, but I learned so much from him, the founder of Frederique Constant and his wife Aletta.
Yeah.
It is like, yeah, what they created, not only like enterprise, like company, but brand image, brand awareness. This is and products, of course. So yeah.
Do me a favor. I always say rules are there to be broken within the law. Quickly tell us why it's full circle for you to end up now at Christiaan van der Klaauw, because you went to him when you graduated, right?
Yeah,
And you already wanted to work at the brand.
yeah.
And please also in the second story, tell us why. For those that don't know, Dutch usually know the story behind Frederique Constant. But what mostly people don't know is that Peter and Aletta, which are indeed epic, and I had the honor to meet them on multiple occasions, what they've grown, because you mentioned enterprise, which it is. It's amazing, from zero to a prominent Swiss watch brand. So
Yeah,
would you mind sharing these two stories? Because they're epic stories, both of them.
yeah. Well, let's start with Christiaan then. It was in the first year of watchmaking school that he came to us and explained about the brand and about his watches. And I still remember that so clearly, that I was struck by his passion and his craftsmanship. And that was probably in 1999, I guess. And so it never went out of my mind. So I went to him during watchmaking school in his garage, where he was making the parts on the machines, which we have still here in the back. And the last year of the watchmaking school, I went back and handed over my CV and said, "Well, I love to work with you." And he was still working alone at the time. And but he already knew I shared already my experiences with Frederique Constant, that I met Peter Stas already, and that he wanted me to work there as well. So Christiaan said, "Well, let's. It's better for you if you gain some more experience in the Swiss watch industry. So just go there. That's your best option." So that's what I did, and I was after 20 years. Well, a lot happened in the meantime, of course, but after 20 years, I'm very happy that I can finally work with him as well, and so that's very special to me.
Amazing.
And of course, as well with Daniel Maria, you can see them here.
Yeah.
They took over the company in 2009 when Christiaan went for how do you call that, pension,
Retirement.
retirement. And so Christiaan retired, Daniel Maria took over, and so they created from a brand that was a really crazy complicated watches, but it was still made in the garage of Christiaan van der Klaauw. They built it out to some way a very international renowned brand. And that's an amazing job, and they are still involved as well. Daniel is still CEO, creative director, and Maria is taking care of the marketing as marketing director as well. So we're a good fresh team with a lot of amazing things that we can add. I mean, they know a lot about their part, and I think I can add a big chunk of experience to that.
Amazing. So just a quick intermezzo for those that are not that much aware. Mr. Christiaan van der Klaauw is still alive. He's still involved. But
Yes.
he's already 79,
79, I guess.
79 years old.
Yeah.
May he live to 120. Still in Heat of Fame. That's where you are today. That's in the north of the Netherlands, Friesland. That's where it started. That's where it still is. Daniel and Maria are amazing. I've met them on many occasions. Are still part of the company as well. You are added for continuation. There is no buyout. There is no revolution. It's all an evolution, right?
Exactly.
Strengthening the brand.
Yeah.
And taking it to the next level. That's what it's about, right?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, amazing. Part 2. Aletta and Peter Stas. I know they started at their at the dining table in Hong Kong.
Yeah, they started there. They
working
were both
for Philips.
Expatriates. He for Philips and she for ING, the bank. So they were working there, and they were walking past those beautiful windows with beautiful Swiss watches, but way too expensive. And so they thought, we can make something beautiful for less money. And that's what their quest was since then, to create beautiful watches for a very beautiful price. And they started at the coffee table, and in 1994 they created their first watches, and they sold it to a Japanese customer. And it's okay. Sorry. So they sold it to a Japanese customer. And from there, it took off very fast. And When I started at Frederique Constant in 2002, we were only 10 people.
Mm-hmm.
So I was the first watchmaker. Directly came from school. And since then we started to create the manufacture movement, the in-house movement. In 2004, we introduced it, and it was like we sold right away. The first day of Basel Fair, we sold like 500 pieces. And from there, it took off. It was an amazing journey. So when I left in April this year, it was the company was taken over by Citizen Group Japan,
Mm-hmm.
and we made 160,000 watches a year, more or less, and we went from 10 people to including Citizen Group to 20,000. So
Amazing.
yeah,
Amazing story. Amazing
quite a
success story
journey.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's amazing, because our mutual friend Niels Eggeding, another Dutchman, CEO today of the brand, is actually the next guest on the show. So
Nice.
we'll continue this amazing story with him as well.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing, Pim. The feedbacks are rolling in. You're a highly sought after guest because people are super excited. We have our friend Rocky on YouTube writing, "Hi guys, good to see you." He's the record holder on the Ace This Live. He's joined every episode and has asked a question. Yeah, so that's difficult to break his flow. We have Dukuman saying, "Sounds awesome." He's replying to your story. He sent this in while you were telling about your story with Christiaan van der Klaauw. And we actually have a bridge here. Our mutual friend Roland Pell, who did an internship with me and with you. So Roland,
I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah. So good to see you, Roland. Thank you so much. Another Dutchman who's actually becoming a very good watchmaker, because I follow him online.
Definitely.
And I see his angelage pictures and evolution on social media. So thank you for joining, Roland. Good to see you. Jumping back to the questions. Fourth question. Pim, if you could teleport tomorrow, and that could be also in time, where would you go?
Wow. That's a good one. I think, probably 1974, when the brand Christiaan van der Klaauw was created.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because of course I love to see this brand, how it's built up, and how it's already like 48 years. They make beautiful watches, and there's a lot of beautiful stuff to come.
Mm-hmm.
But what I would love to experience a little bit what Christiaan was like when he just got started and started to make this very exceptional clocks, which are even now, 48 years later, still very exceptional. And so the clocks were already with astronomical complications, which was very exceptional for the time, but still crazy complicated. So
and
I love to spend time with him to learn more. That's
amazing. And it's a true startup story where in Silicon Valley everybody starts in a garage. So did he, didn't he?
Yeah. It's true. Really in the garage and bluing hands with a small on the small fire, and it's. I mean, that's what you like to feel and see, and it's
amazing. I highly recommend people to go to the official Van der Klaauw website, which is klaauw.com. And for those that are wondering what that means in Dutch, it's a claw. And that's why sometimes you see on the logo, you'll see a claw. That's what it means in Dutch. So if you're ever wondering. Amazing that you chose that. And I know you mean that, because he truly was your mentor. And I know you've spoken to him your graduating years, and you look up to him. And for those that don't comprehend, the planetarium is the smallest mechanical planetarium in the world, and Mr. van der Klaauw created that. And
I have one here.
yeah,
Trying to find my camera because
Yeah.
everything is.
this it's reversed.
Yeah, it's reversed, so it's
So this is one of my grail watches. I love moon phased watches in whatever complication behind them, but this is bizarre because you have 7 heavenly bodies, right? Program.
yes, 6 planets and the sun. So they are turning real time around the sun. So the first one in the center is Mercury, and the planet Mercury is turning once in 88 days around the sun.
Mhm.
And then we have, of course, Venus and Earth. Earth, takes exactly 1 year to go around the sun.
Mhm.
But the outside planet, Saturn, for example, is turning once in 29.5 years. So you can imagine how slow it turns. But here you can see it perfectly.
I love this. I can sit here for hours and play with this configurator.
Yeah. No, it's really
And you see
amazing.
this one. This one goes round in 3 decades, right?
Yes, 29.5 years.
Yeah. Whereas the cycle of the moon is 29.5 days. So
Yes.
it's interesting.
Yeah.
So, I love this.
Yeah.
But okay. Thank you for sharing that. As you see, I'm super excited, so I'm all over the place. 5th question, Pim, because the questions keep on rolling in, so I need to pick up speed. What book are you currently reading? I know you fly a lot, so do you read on the plane?
To be honest with you, I'm very dyslexic.
Okay.
I cannot read a book, so no, I'm not reading.
Maybe audiobooks.
No, that could be an option, but no, it's really true. I'm really having a hard time reading, and that's also one of my advantages, I guess, because that's why I can, for example, I can a minute repeater, for example. We made one for Ateliers de Monaco. Even now, like years after, I can imagine the whole system, like 400 pieces. Take it apart in my head and maybe change some components or maybe bend something to see how it works. That's all. I mean, that's my competence. That's what I can do. But reading is not really what.
So let me help you. How do you keep up with literature in our industry? Do you read magazines? Do you read books that are published?
No, it's of course I read a little bit, but it's not my favorite thing. But if I read something, it's about watches. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to waste my time on anything else.
Yeah. Interesting. So while we're talking, Dukuman says on Facebook, audiobooks rules.
Yeah, I have to try that.
On the previous question, he wrote, great question, smiley. We have Romain Valletta joining us, writing bonjour, Pim et Alon. Welcome, Romain. Bonjour.
Hey,
Merci
Watchmaker
beaucoup
as well
for joining us. We have our friend in Switzerland, Isha Patel, writing on LinkedIn. Super interesting. Thank you for joining, Isha. Great to have you here. We have a lot of technical questions, but I'm keeping them for the end, Pim.
Yeah.
Switching back to the 6th question. So we've seen a lot of colors passing by in watchmaking the last few years, especially jewelry, fashion, but also watchmaking.
Yeah.
And on the background, I put up the planetarium limited edition.
Put him here as well.
I love the color.
Winner of the Grand Prix d'Horlogerie 2021.
Tell us quickly what the dial is, because this is not the Tiffany dial, and you guys are not trend followers. You did not make this because Tiffany blue or turquoise is popular right now. This
Yeah,
has a very
definitely.
meaningful reason you guys made this dial.
Yeah, this actually, you can see also the stripes, and this represents the ceiling, so the wooden ceiling of the oldest planetarium still working in the world.
Which you see
And
on the background. That's the picture on the background of our show.
yeah, exactly. And this oldest planetarium in the world is not very far from our workshop in Franeker in Holland.
Mhm.
And this guy, IJs IJsinga, he made this in his living room. So for anybody loving this stuff, please go there and check it out. It's now it's really an important museum. It's the Royal Museum of IJs IJsinga, because it's very important for the Dutch culture. And yeah, it's beautiful. All the planets are turning around in the living room, and it's a actually funny story, because he made this to prove that there was not an apocalypse. So the church at the time, they said there are 3 planets in a row, and this will disturb the whole solar system, and this will probably will be the end of anything, the end of human life as we know it.
Mhm.
So he, being a very smart guy, IJs IJsinga, was thinking, nah, that's not true at all. I'll show you. And he built his own, his own planetarium. Took him 8 years to finish it. And that the moment of the Earth aligning with the other planets was all gone already. So everybody knew that it was not going to happen, any apocalypse. But it is. Yeah, still working, this planetarium. Really amazing.
Amazing.
Please check it out.
I'm ashamed to say that I haven't been yet, but
Oh, yeah,
my son is coming of an age that he's fascinated by the moon and the sun.
yeah.
So a good excuse to go. So taking this bridge to, what do you think is going to be the color for 2023?
Good question. I hope that the color will be one of our novelties. Yeah, that we can kick it in as a trendsetter as well. But yeah, so but I think it is one of those bright colors. Let's keep it with that. I'm really, so the turquoise or the Tiffany color is very happening now, and it's not going to change into dark brown or maybe black or something. It remains very colorful for the next couple of years.
Yeah, because you guys are on the pulse. You guys made a green for last year, but very relevant for astronomical watch because it's meteorite. I've
Yes.
never seen a green meteor dial before. You'll see jade, malachite. So that's awesome. I love this color as well, Havana
Yeah, it's
brown.
beautiful.
So you guys do definitely play around for the and obviously I think one of your best-selling dials are the Aventurine ones, right? That we see,
Yes, definitely. There you have one.
which I love and is very relevant for moon phase dials. I also love your um, gradient dials. I think that they are now
Yeah,
less
with
in the collection, right?
The Guilloche dial is very
Yeah,
nice
yeah,
with the 3D moon here.
yeah. So you guys do a lot of texture and depth into your watches,
Yeah,
which I
and
love.
this 3D moon is the most precise 3D moon ever made, and it has a precision, an accuracy, or an error of only 1 day in 11,000 years.
Crazy, crazy. And also for this watch, you guys have an amazing animation on your website where you can see the moon literally turning. Love it. Amazing. Um, do you can I use this question as a bridge to you sharing a scoop? What's in the pipeline?
No. No, I'm sorry.
That's a pity. That's a pity.
Next
Okay.
try, next try.
Last question, rather rhetorical for a Dutch guy, because you've been here last week, so we know you've been in Amsterdam. But what do you love the most about Amsterdam, Pim?
Yeah, what do I love the most about Amsterdam? Yeah, I of course I did 4 years of watchmaking school there, so I really have a lot of good memories. I think one thing that I love about Amsterdam is are the museums, musea. I have to say, beautiful, and I really the history of Holland, and that's also a thing that we cannot neglect. I mean, of course, the Swiss watch industry is the Swiss watch industry. It's like the chocolates, and I mean, that's Swiss. But the Dutch invented the pendulum. They invented the hairspring, and of course, we were very strong in the 1600s to travel and to do business overseas in Asia and everywhere. And that was because of a couple of things. We knew how to make watches. So, because if you want to travel somewhere, you need the time, and you need to know the planets and the solar system. If you don't know those two things, you can go wherever you want, but you never come back. So they really knew about this, and that's the reason also why I think astronomy and the Dutch are so linked. Watchmaking, astronomy, and doing business overseas, everything is coming together, and that's also why I'm so proud and honored that I can take care of this brand for as long as I can work.
Amazing, because as you said, it's so relevant that Van der Klaauw exists as a watch brand.
Yeah, definitely.
He is a very modest man, but he is literally a living genius.
Yes.
And you flew over the topic quickly, and luckily on your own website, you guys dedicate on the second tab of your navigation a whole dedication about astronomy and Dutch astronomy. So you talked about the pendulum. This really Christiaan Huygens, no coincidence that they're both called Christian, was very incremental and essential for watchmaking in the 17th century. So I highly recommend you guys to read this. You'll see IJs IJsinga here. And what you said about traveling, all navigation was done by sea. If you didn't know the tides and you didn't know how to use the sun, the moon, and all the other planets, you couldn't navigate this world where we thought the planet was flat. So very relevant and essential. And I think we lost in the Western world the connection maybe with astronomy.
Yeah.
But I think in the Middle East, in the Far East, it's still very relevant, right? And it's very ironic that those of us that are dabbling in crypto, there is one lady who is an astronomer, and she literally says you need to wait for full moon. And after the full moon, the ebb and flow of crypto values go up and down. And after full moon, it goes up. Yeah, so a buddy of mine and I literally are now tracking if she's right or not. So that's what I use the astronomy for.
Then you definitely need one of our watches for sure. Yeah.
It's a funny sidestep. Pim, we have about 20 minutes left. Loads of questions. I want to give you a platform to share a bit. You shared actually a lot. For those that maybe are not that known with the brand, or are tuning in only now, or don't have the patience to listen to 1 hour episode, could you please quickly give a elevator pitch what the brand is?
Sure.
And more importantly, what's your vision? Where are you taking the brand, please?
Yeah.
Would you mind sharing that?
Yeah, of course. So I think Christiaan van der Klaauw, very important to know that it's 48 years of astronomical watches and movements, clocks. So very rich history. But at the time of Christiaan, mainly focused on Holland, a little bit international. Of course, after some beautiful watch introductions at the time when Maria and Daniel took over, we had the smallest planetarium in the world, the the most precise 3D moon in the world. We had some other beautiful, like this one. It's the
Amazing.
It shows the eclipse, the declination of the sun, the moon, and the date and the month.
Mhm.
And those kind of watches, yeah, that's in the collection at the moment.
Mhm.
Really beautiful collection. And yeah, I think that's what the brand is all about. We are the only watch brand in the world that is focusing on astronomy and only astronomy. And that's what is so strong uh, that's our proposition.
Mhm.
Very unique. I think the other thing is that very important is that we are winner of the Grand Prix de Horlogerie,
Mhm.
which really changed the look, the international brand awareness of Christiaan van der Klaauw.
Yeah.
Together with the fact that we work together with Van Cleef and Arpels,
Yeah.
which are I can say the most important jewelry maker in the world, which asked Daniel Maria and of course the Christiaan van der Klaauw team to create a watch for them, and that's what we did. And we created two watches: a man's watch and a ladies planetarium, which are selling prices like over 300K. So it's really the high point. And this is what were really from Christiaan was really Dutch orientated and really built the brand awareness, but in Holland mostly. Then we have this international push with winning the prize and with the cooperation with Van Cleef. And now the next step
Sorry to
is
interrupt you, Pim. Is this a one-time collab, one series and done, or is this still in production? This collab. Are these
uh,
watches still available at Van Cleef & Arpels?
I think they produce, but they produce very limited production. It's a very complicated watch. So
But it's still available.
yes, I guess so. Yeah, yeah.
And so it's an ongoing, it's another one-time stint or a marketing stunt.
No,
It's a true
definitely not.
collaboration.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, amazing.
yeah. And yeah, from there, my vision is that we have all the ingredients that were created by Christiaan and created by Daniel Maria to have a huge impact if we go more into for example, other markets. Like you said, astronomy is so important in the Middle East, in the Far East, even in the US. It's very it's a big thing. So we can develop so much more. And my goal is not to sell like thousands of watches, not at all. My goal is to sell more beautiful watches because I want to create more beautiful watches. To finance the creation is very expensive and time consuming. So you have to sell watches to be able to create watches, and that's what I like to do. But the whole team here is that's their goal in life, I have to say.
Amazing. Amazing. We have our mutual friend Daniela Marin joining us from The Naked Watchmaker
Yeah,
on
nice,
YouTube. Thank you for
good,
joining. She writes beautiful
welcome.
timepieces.
Yeah.
And if somebody knows timepieces, it's her. So that's a big compliment. Thank you for joining, Daniela. Thank you for sharing, Pim. Would you elaborate on what I said about price point? So, and you already said that you guys made a male and female watch with Van Cleef, but within your brand, you guys never neglect women. Could you touch upon these two topics, please?
Yeah. So first of all, I think right now in the collection we have some models with a volume movement 7750, which is more in entry price level,
Yeah.
which I want to keep and really build on that heritage of, for example, the watch that you're wearing, the Ariadne, is something definitely that coming back in the collection with another and different, more modern kind of style.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's very important, and I don't think that the masterpiece collection will hurt the lower entry level collection or vice versa. I think they can definitely live together because, as you said before, all the passionate people about the brand and about the watches, they maybe today they buy an Ariadne because they love the brand and the watch, and maybe tomorrow are able or they are willing to buy a masterpiece. And I think it's a beautiful evolution of passion.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing. So yes, we will continue making entry level, and yes, we are continuing making masterpieces more complicated, so eventually also more expensive because they're more complicated.
Amazing. Thank you for that. And
So your second question, can you repeat
pardon?
again? Your second question, you asked me two things, but
Is on the lady side, yeah.
oh yeah, sure.
Are there any novelties there coming?
Coming, yes, definitely coming. Not in 23 yet, because yeah, as you can understand, everything takes a bit of time, especially development in the watch industry is yeah a long trajectory of prototyping, etc. But yeah, we having now the Lady Stardust, Orion Lady Stardust, very beautiful watch with an aventurine dial, which is really nice. And yeah, we are definitely also going to have some complications in the ladies area,
Amazing.
but not yet.
Okay.
It's work in progress.
It's indeed a work in progress. So what I've written on the screen now is for those that want to meet Pim in person, I want to see some products in their hands. We're actually celebrating the collaboration between Ace Jewelers and Christiaan van der Klaauw with a launch party on Thursday, the 27th of October. So 3 weeks from now. We are kind of chock-a-block full, but I want to honor the viewers of the Ace This Live. If you want to attend, shoot us an email and we'll make sure we can make space for you that evening. It's going to be from 6 p.m. till 10 p.m. in Amsterdam in our boutique. So that's the banner on the site. I want to jump to the questions. If you have any questions for Pim, please put them in the comment section on whatever channel you're watching right now and will show up in our feed. But we have already a big pipeline. So we have, let me scroll through quickly. Rocky always likes to know the cutting edge news. He writes on YouTube, is it this year or next year that we can expect a collab between Ace and Christiaan van der Klaauw? Pim, do you want to answer or me?
No, go ahead.
Rocky, definitely something up in the works. You knowing me, I love the brand. I love collabs. I am definitely not a watch designer, but I have quite some particular tastes and views on watchmaking. So when I asked Pim this question, he definitely did not say no. He just said, please be patient because my pipeline is full. Everybody knows that the watchmaking industry has problems in the supply chain, and actually any industry in this world right now. So definitely something we want to do. And for you, the hardcore fans of both Ace and Van der Klaauw, shoot in your requests. Maybe we'll listen. But as stubborn as you know I am, I don't know if I will. But please do. And on that topic, there is a whole chat going on in the thread. Our friend William writes to Rocky, yes, collab, Ace, and Chris Van der Klaauw. So, Pim, you see, it's a topic that's very relevant because I told you that it's something actual end consumers and collectors want.
Yeah.
William wrote also on YouTube, he remembers meeting Mr. Van der Klaauw in the Jure shop decades ago. Still amazing works of art and technology. William, I'm not quite sure if you registered yet, but we hope to see you on the 27th. He's a regular guest at our events. Let me see what else. Actually, Rocky asked another good question. He asks, and this one is for you, Pim. Can you tell us more about Dark Rush watches? Good one. I wanted to ask that one.
Okay. Yeah, that's a brand of Daniel Maria, which they were making, I think, 5-6 years ago, if I'm correctly. A beautiful collection. So yeah, that's still ongoing, but it's more the part of Daniel Maria.
Yeah, so it's a separate brand.
Yeah.
Same owners as one of the owners of Christiaan van der Klaauw watches. But you guys are not a group, and you are not related to that brand, right?
No.
Okay. So there's no blending there.
No.
Okay. Thank you for asking, Rocky. Good question. Thank you, Pim, for sharing openly. On Facebook, Edward Burer writes, looking forward for the event on the 27th. Also, a big watch collector. Thank you for watching, Edward. And we are looking forward to seeing you in person. It has been way too long because we have a long email relationship going on, but I'm a personal guy, so I don't like emailing. Thank you for that. Let me see. We have a question from Mutoka Frederique on LinkedIn. He writes, do you go for quartz stones too? Good question. So this is the Orion you were talking about, because I don't think it's on your website right now, but definitely still available. So we have it up on our website. So Aventurine you guys use gems for the planetarium, don't you? Pim?
You mean in the bezel? And in the case?
Are these gemstones?
No. They're steel balls and hand painted.
But the Arpel ones are. These are gems.
Yeah. They are a lot bigger.
Okay, so that's interesting. Did you ever use quartz dials? Gemstone dials?
No.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
So maybe
a good idea.
Up for consideration.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for asking, Mutoka, and thank you for joining. Edward puts his thumb up and writes true, and he refers to our emailing. Roland Pell writes on LinkedIn, Romain and I would like to come to the launch party if we have the time. Email me, Roland. You have my address, and I'll hook you guys up. Although I don't know who Romain is, but he's welcome as well. Let me see. Questions we got sent in through Instagram earlier on. This is a good one. When you start making a new watch, do you start with the caliber or the design first, Pim? Good question.
With the design.
You start with the design? So it's not form follows function.
No, well, it's a combination, I have to say, because first, but first, the main idea is that you want to make a beautiful watch, and that then you think, okay, how should it look like? What should it look like? And then you can see, okay, I can add this function, or I can add that function, or maybe I have this kind of technology inside. That's growing afterwards. But the main idea, the main goal is still to make something beautiful and impressive. So we don't go and say, okay, we want to make first like a crazy complicated movement, and then think, okay, how can I make it beautiful? No, it's the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the the steps where we how we think.
Can you, on this topic, share how much you guys do in-house?
Yes, definitely. We have a Swiss movement. The base movement at the moment, I have to say, at the moment, is bought in Switzerland. Then we make all the parts that you see here. We make in house. So the wheels, for example, is done on the lathe turning machine. We cut it teeth by teeth. Everything is polished, finished, assembled by hand. Even this very complicated wheel, that is the wheel of the planetarium, is totally done in house. Sorry, and the planets are painted by hand. We do the gold plating, rhodium plating, assembly, finishing. That the
I
whole astronomical module is done in house.
Amazing. I know that you don't know an exact percentage, but if you had to give a ballpark estimate, how much do you guys do in-house about? Would it be 50 or not yet?
No, 90, I guess.
90?
Yeah. No, a lot more.
Really?
Yes.
So, for those that don't know, which is a bit tricky, Swiss laws, you would say if something is Swiss made, your initial response would be, hey, 100%. Also made in Italy for clothing. But strangely enough, every country has a different regulation. And in Switzerland, it used to be 50% needs to be manufactured in Switzerland and the assembly needs to be done. Correct, Pim?
Yeah,
Today
I
it's
think
60, right?
yeah, 60%.
Yeah, that's a new law.
Yeah, 60% of the cost or the combined cost of the watch.
Needs to be Swiss. So
Swiss.
that's a bit tricky. Many high-end brands in Switzerland really make 100% Swiss made, but that's rather odd than the rule of thumb. Do we have a Dutch law on this? I don't even know that.
No, we
It
don't
doesn't
have.
exist. So
No,
when you
it
say
doesn't.
Dutch made, it's not regulated.
No.
Although we have the Waarborg,
Yeah, that's
very
true.
strict law.
Yeah, no, but it is there's no rule or something. So it's a little bit different than the Swiss made. But anyway, I mean, a big part is the Swiss movement that we use,
Yeah.
but the rest and the real cost and energy that goes into the watch is all made in house. So that's
Amazing. I see we have 1.5 minutes left. I have many more questions, but one amazing one. I'm considering to become a watchmaker. I'm Dutch. Should I start in the Netherlands or go to Switzerland immediately? Last quick question for you, Pim.
come and join us.
Do you guys have apprenticeships?
Yes, yeah, of course we have.
And even if they didn't do the school yet, you want them?
No, if they started the school, then I definitely.
And you hire Dutch students.
Yeah, we have so much work. It's thanks
Amazing.
to you, we sell too much.
Thank you so much for the honor. Guys, as I said, next episode is now in the books November 3rd with our mutual friend Niels Eggeding of Frederique Constant, CEO of Frederique Constant. Could be we'll pump in 1 or 2 more shows. So make sure to go to theacelist.com where you have a real-time schedule of upcoming guests. Pim, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Looking forward to our training tomorrow and seeing you the 27th. And thank you to
Yes.
all our dear viewers. Edward says, interesting chat. Sorry I missed the first part. Thanks. Thank you for joining, and I'll send you the link. Bye, Pim.
Hey,
See you
later.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Take care, my friend. Bye.
Bye-bye.